Welcome to Minding My Money. I'm your host, Shawnee, and this is where the journey to financial freedom is real, raw, and a little bit fun. I'm sharing my wins, my lessons, and everything in between, $1 at a time. Now, before we jump in, let me say this. This ain't financial advice, just financial realness. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bill? Can you pay my automobile? Now, if I'm being honest, my experience, especially when it came to dating, is an absolute no. So let me tell you something. I've carried weight that should have crushed me, but I'm still standing, still rising, still minding my money. For some reason, I stayed stuck on stupid in my 20s when it came to dating and money. I kept ending up in situations where I was flipping the bill, and trust me, I'm not proud of it. I'm not promoting it. I used to pick up the tab in relationships I had no business being in. And you might ask, girl, why? Because it was something I saw growing up. Women sacrificing everything, even their peace, just to hold a man down. I didn't know it was toxic. I thought it was love. I thought it was loyalty. But let me be real. I was paying for groceries, rent, cable, internet, everything, while he played house and gave the bare minimum, if that. And when I finally kicked him out, yes, he got kicked out, okay? He took a table and some power strips like that was something to break me. But baby, I paid for everything and replaced everything. And you thought it would break me? Nah, it built me. There was a stretch of time where it felt like everything in life was testing me, from relationships, from work, from money, even my health. And that relationship drained me financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I was fresh into my nursing career, eager to finally leave my parents' house and have my own privacy. I was supposed to be sharing an apartment with the person I was dating at the time. Now, kicker, it didn't last but 3 or 4 months, okay? But looking back, the red flags were definitely there and they were so loud. He couldn't even help with the deposit for the apartment. And the night before moving, he didn't follow through on getting a mover. But I ignored it all because I wanted out of my mom's house and I wanted it to work out in that relationship. So guess what? I carried the load. And I let it happen because I thought that's what strong women do. I thought carrying the weight meant I was loyal, not lost. At work, I was overlooked for promotions, doing more, showing up early, leaving late, sacrificing sleep and sanity, and still being told I wasn't quite ready. Night shift as a nurse wore my body down. My spirit was tired, my bank account was gasping, and I remember thinking I did everything I was supposed to do in school, career, I was grinding, and this is it. But here's the truth, I didn't quit. Even when I was ashamed, even when I hid what I was going through, I kept getting up. I was broke, embarrassed, overlooked, fighting a relationship every day, but I stayed in the fight, and that's survival. Survival isn't pretty. Sometimes survival looks like crying in the car on the way to work, stretching meals and paychecks to the limits, turning down trips and invites because it's just not in the budget, creating your own peace after clocking out of chaos. And I used to say, I don't bring tears into work. If I cry, it's before or after, never on the clock. But trust me, there were plenty of days I cried on the drive. I lived check to check and barely, and rent was always late, but somehow I always paid. No reliable partner because I kicked old boy out, okay? No help, just me. And the wild part, I didn't even know how to clap for myself because society doesn't teach us to celebrate survival, especially when you're doing the work of two people with half of a tank. I didn't glow up, I showed up. And that's the real flex for me. At some point, I got tired of just surviving the bills. I wanted more than barely making it. And that shift started right before I got evicted. But the real work began after I moved back in with my mom. That room upstairs in my mama's house became my classroom. I studied budgeting, watched videos on fixing credit, looked up free resources, and I had to say no, and a lot, even to things I wanted. But for the first time, I was choosing me over pressure. Survival taught me grit, it taught me discernment, it taught me to move in silence and value peace over performance. This journey is a marathon, not a race. I didn't just survive the storm, I learned how to dance in the rain. Paying bills will expose every weak boundary you have. I used to say yes when I meant to say no, cover costs that weren't mine, carry financial weight I never agreed to just to avoid conflict. But bills don't lie. They show you exactly who's contributing and who's consuming. And once I saw that clearly, I stopped negotiating my peace because love should never feel like a bill you didn't agree to pay. I had to unlearn the idea that love equals sacrifices without limits. Love is not draining your bank account to prove loyalty. Love is not struggling in silence while someone benefits from your labor out loud. Love is not overextending yourself to keep someone comfortable. If it costs you your stability, it's too expensive. So let's talk about this. Women, especially where I grew up culturally, especially in the black church, are expected to hold things down emotionally and financially. We were taught to be strong, to stretch, to figure it out, and men get grace when they fall short. We get expectations and then get left to pick up the pieces. I carried weight I didn't have to carry, and I'm done pretending that was noble. And I refuse to pass that burden down to the next generation. I understand every culture this doesn't apply to, but it definitely applied to me growing up. And it was survival for me and not destiny. Burnout sends invoices, missed rest, ignored needs, a body tired before its time, and that night shift I worked drained me in ways I didn't understand until later. I was paying bills with my health and didn't even know the balance was overdue. Survival taught me how to push, and healing taught me how to pause. But both matters. I didn't wake up one day and decide to overgive. I learned it. I watched women around me make it work no matter the cost. I watched struggle get normalized. I watched sacrifice get praised, even when it hurt. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's healthy. I had to tell myself this: I can honor where I come from without repeating it. Once I saw the patterns, I couldn't unsee them, from who benefited, who disappeared when money got tight, who showed up only when it was convenient. And awareness gave me power. Power gave me choice. And I stopped funding dysfunction and I started funding my future. Survival mode keeps you alive. Strategy mode builds your life. That shift didn't happen overnight. It happened through reflection, discomfort, and honesty. I stopped reacting and I started planning, and that changed everything. Now, today, I definitely move a whole lot differently. I ask questions, I set expectations, I protect my peace and my pockets, and I don't overextend to prove worth. I don't confuse chaos with passion, and I build slow, I build smart, and I build with intention. And after everything between the bills, the burnout, the broken relationships, and the setbacks, guess what? I'm still here. I'm wiser, I'm stronger, and I'm more grounded. I sometimes look back and think on the past and say, you know what? You really tried it. And I just sit and think, but you know what? I'm still here. I didn't survive just to say I've made it through. I survived so I can build something better. Every failed relationship, every missed opportunity, every overdraft, it didn't defeat me, it defined me. And I'm not just a survivor anymore, I'm an architect. And if you're still standing, your story isn't over either. Thanks for tuning into Minding My Money, where every dollar has a story and every story brings us closer to financial freedom. If you felt inspired, learned something new, or just vibe with the journey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs it. You can also catch more content and behind the scenes moments on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Minding My Money. Until next time, keep minding your money $1 at a time.